Okay, so I hope that you all got a chance to review the orientation program that I emailed last week. Um, so today we have a number of speakers that will come on just to give you helpful tips and advice for the transition into college. Our first speaker today is going to be Ronald Wells. He's going to be discussing money management. Ronald Wells is a financial advisor and broker at the Striano Financial Group. We came to know Ronald through a 2020 Snow Scholar that he helped recently. Earlier this year, he joined our selection committee and even took part in our interviews. So some of you may even recognize him from being on his interview team. We thought it would be awesome to have Ronald come and speak today on money management. He has such a great personality, and he has some great tips on how to manage money and how to manage time. He has a rule that I thought was very useful that he would give as a piece of advice in his interviews, and that's part of the reason why we chose him today. So I am going to give the control over to Ronald to go ahead.
All right, so I'm Ronald Wells. Thank you guys again for letting me be a part of this. It has been a great journey for me when it comes to being a part of the George Snow family. Like Shannon said, I came through as another scholar who I was mentoring at the time, and it just was a rewarding experience all the way around. I want to thank Leslie, Shannon, and Mr. Snow for allowing me the opportunity to come here and speak to you guys and to be a part of the selection process. It was rewarding. You guys are amazing. Anyone who's made it this far, selected, or even were just interviewed for that matter, you guys were truly amazing. You made me feel like, oh gosh, I got to do more with my life. Between all this, all the community service that you did, you truly embody what the world needs right now, which is people who actually care about others, and not just care about others, but care enough about themselves to make a better impact on the world today. So I truly do congratulate all of you guys who are here in this meeting. And also anyone, if you have any questions along the way, I'll make sure I check the comments while I'm going through this. But this is something that I do on a daily basis, whether you're 18 to 85. I talk to people daily about their finances and what they truly love about what we do and what I do personally, along with my staff, is we take a really big view, a holistic view of what you're actually looking for as far as your goals. Goals are something that are very hard to identify. You guys did a great job, even during the interview process, putting that on paper and displaying it when we spoke with you. So you already have your goals. That's something that an advisor or a money manager can never teach you, is what are your goals? We're looking for what are your goals. The gift that I have is that I help you reach your goals. So I give you that pathway. And one of the easiest pathways that I do give to help you reach your goals is through a method called 50-20-30. But before I get into that, because everybody has dreams, but this is a movie that I really like sometimes when it comes to just giving people an opportunity to see how superficial some goals can be. And it just doesn't matter what your goals are, as long as you have a pathway to reaching them. So I'm gonna play this piece of media from the Boiler Room. It has Ben Affleck speaking, so here we go.
Details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari, 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
And those last two questions, what's required? That's the main thing that people need to understand, is what is required to reach your goals. And that's where 50-20-30 really comes into play. So 50-20-30, your parents, your relatives, they probably have heard of this concept before. I'm sure Shannon or Leslie have heard it in some iteration, 50-10-40 or whatever the case may be. But it's a pathway for me in the 50-20-30 model that has been more successful for my clients. And I know I'm throwing out these numbers, 50-20-30, 50-20-30. What does that mean? Well, what that means is it's a budgeting concept that is holistically tied into who you are as a person. So when we get to the 50%, I'm going to take an example of someone that I've worked with that is around your age. He works for a popular grocery chain. He goes to FAU and all those other great things. He brings in about $215 a week. At $215 a week, he's bringing about $860 a month in income. So we are basing this model off of his income. So 50 is 50% of his income per month is what he is going to earn that we need to put towards his bills. Everything he likes to do within a calendar month, all right? I mean, everything. So I don't care if it's groceries, gas, phone bill, light bill, whatever. But in your age category, between 18 to 25, where it's most relevant at this point in time, and the fact that you're part of the George family, more than likely, you don't have to worry about room and board, books, classes, or anything like that. They really take a holistic view of helping you throughout the process. And that was one of the main reasons I wanted to be a part of this process, because I saw from another scholar that they worked with how much they helped out. And literally, like, it was everything. So now all he has to focus on, and I'm giving you him as an example, he has to focus on paying his car note, which is $200, his phone bill, which is $50, and his whatever he eats. That's all, and gas for the car, which is about $20 a week. Drives a little toot-toot hatchback type of thing. It's brand new, but it's his. So with that being said, his bills are roughly about $400 a month, but his 50% total, and I'm going to share a screen with the calculator. Hold on one second, calculator. So you can actually see it in action. Share screen. His bills per month, $215 times 4, because there's 4 weeks in a month. Again, 50, 20, 30 is your number. So these are your numbers. If you don't like the numbers and how they come out in your budget, you have two options: scale down or make more money. It's one of the two. So keep that in mind when we're talking about 50, 20, 30. These are your numbers. I don't make these up. They're your numbers. So for this kid, or young man, this is $215 he makes a week after taxes. $860 is what he brings in. We divide that by 2 because that's 50% of his income. He's spending $400 a month on all his bills. So that means for him, he's fitting inside his 50% very nicely with a $30 overage. So we can take that $30 and go put it into my next bucket. But for all intents and purposes, you want to make sure all of your bills fit inside that 50%. We're not just talking for employment. In your case, you're receiving scholarships. You're receiving grants. You're receiving money from family members because they want to give you graduation dollars. Every single dollar that comes through your hand goes by the 50, 20, 30 model. If it doesn't, then you should probably let it go through that model because it's very holistic. 50% of your income or 50% of the dollars you receive go towards bills. If you don't like the number, make more money or solicit more money. Go get more grants. Go get more scholarships. Whatever you got to do to make your life a little bit better, go do it in that regard. Now, the next thing, I'm going to skip over the 20 because I keep saying 50, 20, 30. The next thing is, first off, does anybody have any questions about the 50%? Anybody?
Wait, can I use my mic or do you want me to type into the chat?
No, you can talk. You can talk. Go ahead. Who is this?
Okay,
who am I speaking
to? Elizabeth.
How you doing, Elizabeth?
I'm great. So with the 50, 30, 20, I just wanted to make sure. So you said that so all the money that we get from graduation and so forth, we should be using it within the model? Yeah.
Any dollar that passes through your hands because you're so young and you may not have a job that can sustain you, fit it within the model. It's a very successful model, and I'll explain why as we get through the other ones. But yeah, 50% goes towards your bills. If your bills don't equal out to the full 50%, that's great. You have an overage. and you get to put it into that overflow into this this space that I'm gonna talk about next, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if your parents are paying for all of your bills, congratulations. My parents did it for me. I was blessed enough to have that. Some people aren't, and that's okay. But don't bite the hand that feeds you. Be nice to your parents these next 4 years. That is post taxes, yes. so 50% of your income goes towards your bills. The overages, if you have an overflow where you're not maximizing your full 50% and you have less than, in this case, $430 worth of bills to go towards every month, that overage goes into a section into the 30%. Let me pull back up my handy dandy calculator so you guys can see the screen, because I know a lot of people are visual. Again, this particular client makes $215 a week after taxes times 0.30 and multiply that by 4. $258, let's just round it up to $260. $260 a month, this person has to go towards what we call YOLO. Unless it doesn't kill you or will kill you, mentally harm you or others, go blow it. You have $260 a month, or this kid has or young man has $260 a month to go blow. I don't care what you blow it on, as long as it is not something that will hurt you mentally, physically, or spiritually. Go blow it. And I know sometimes people have particular goals like spring break, or you want to pledge towards a sorority or fraternity, or you want to go on a class trip, or whatever the case may be. So it takes a little bit more savings to accomplish these goals. But the maximum amount of time you have to put this $260 away per month is 3 months, which is a quarter of the year. After 3 months, all of my clients know, and it's a running joke. If you don't spend all $260 a month, or let's do it times 3, $775 a month, for a quarter. If you don't blow your 30% in a quarter, go ahead and donate it to the Ronald Wells Foundation. Go Zelle me that money, because you don't know how to have fun. And having fun is a big deal. And people don't realize that well-balanced people, when all hell breaks loose, they don't break down when they're well-balanced. Yes, they may be sad. Yes, they may, go through a bout where, they don't want to be around people, whatever the case may be. But when well-balanced people, or happy people who blow their money on something that they enjoy, they generally speaking, do not blow the rest of their budgets. I had a client who is now a client now. It took her 7 months to become a client. She's 26 years old. She had $18,000 in savings from scholarships, jobs, all this other stuff. Her grandfather passed away unexpectedly. Tripped in the garden. He didn't have external bleeding, but he had internal bleeding. He passed away in November around Thanksgiving. It's the holiday season. Everybody's trying to figure out funeral arrangements and things of that nature. And he had his affairs in order. But through catering and going out to eat and going on trips and stuff like that, this woman blew through $18,000. She was what we called a super saver. Didn't live by the 50, 20, 30 model. Told me she got it. I was like, nah, you need to blow some of that money. As soon as something bad happened, she was embarrassed to call me back. I was trying to figure out why she didn't want to become a client. Hey, where are you at? Can't find you. She calls me 2 days before Christmas. Hey, Ron, sorry I hadn't been returning your calls, blah, 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 all this other great stuff. I was embarrassed. I was like, why were you embarrassed? I was like, you know what? I already know. She's like, what do you know? I was like, you blew all the money. She's like, I only have $3,000 left over. She blew $15,000 in a 32-day span. All because she wasn't well balanced in her holistic view of finances. She didn't know how to have fun. Every single piece of income went to her savings or her bills, no other place. So take her lessons to heart and don't be like her. Because I've seen it time and time again, where when you don't go blow your money on something that is fun, and it can't be charity, you can't give it away to the church, you can't give it away to the George Snow Scholarship. We have a column for that, okay? You gotta go blow it on yourself or something with your family for fun that you are actually participating in. I don't care if you go jump out of an airplane, that is perfectly safe, believe it or not. I don't care what you do, but go blow 30% of your income. 30% of the money that comes to your hands in a 3-month span, you have to blow before the end of 90 days. If you don't blow it, zell it to Ronald Wells at 850-339-4891. All right? I mean it. Now, when you've finally developed that balance, 50% of your income going towards bills, 30% going towards YOLO. Anybody got any questions about YOLO money? You can talk or you can chat. Put it in the chat.
Sometimes. Hi, it's Isha.
How you doing, Isha?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
All right, I just had a question. So sometimes when you're going to spend that money, like what you're spending it on might cost more than what you have for that yellow money. So in that case, wouldn't you need to tap into your savings to pay that or anything else?
Just need to say, I highly doubt that over a 3-month span, you couldn't save up in your YOLO budget. If it is, then it's outside your reach and you need to ask your mom for money. All right? Split the difference with parents, okay? But I highly doubt that the money that you're receiving over a 3-month period to save, which is my limit, that it would take you to go and do something that is extravagant in that YOLO budget. If it is, then it's outside of your budget, which is fine. Your 18 to 25 range, fine. It's okay to go ask parents for help. That's what they're there for. You are theirs until you're 25 or married. Pick one, but you are theirs. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
We do have a couple questions in the chat here. There was a question from Finn Wilson. It says, is the 50% of income pre or post taxes? Did we already respond to that, Ronald?
Yes, it's post taxes. Post taxes, your net income. It's what you receive after taxes are taken out.
And then Elizabeth Grauer asked, would you say we should make different checking accounts to spread the money?
Yes, I highly suggest that. Prioritizing your income and itemizing your income is the best way to stick to 50, 20, 30. Most people, when they're 18, only have a checking and a savings. I suggest that you have 3 checkings and a savings, so that you have your 50% of your income going towards one bucket, 20% going towards the other, 30 going towards another, and then we'll talk about savings within the 20%. The 20% is where I live. That's where Ron resides. So I want you to make more money. And YOLO is the only way that most people make more money because they're happy. Happy people go to work happy. Happy people open business happy. Happy people know how to make it through a bad situation in a business. So they continue to be persistent. You've seen how happy you guys have been, even though you've gone through trials and tribulations. Through some of these applications that I've seen, you guys have overcome a lot. But there's a balance to that. You participate in clubs and organizations that keep you happy. You participate in sports. You participate in school. So yeah, it's a lot of things that go into making you happy. Would you recommend having 3 checking accounts through the same bank? Yeah, it makes it easier. Should we have a credit card? I'm gonna get to that. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. Because I don't believe in spending with your debit card. So we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But that is, go ahead.
What drove your client to spend so much of her money after not spending it? Like, why is the fact that she didn't spend a lot of her savings, why did that contribute to her spending it really suddenly?
It was a traumatic event. People don't realize until you go through a traumatic event how it affects you in everything that you do. It's a great question, Amanda, and I think I interviewed you. You were great, by the way. But long and short, it was a traumatic event. And when you're finally in control of your finances through a traumatic event, you will never understand it until you go through one. And you know that saying, you don't know until you have kids? People always say that to you, and you're just like, poppycock. I'm prime example of they weren't wrong. So But this particular person, I don't want to use her name in this context because she only gives me permission to use it with clients. But this particular person did not have kids. She had not experienced a loss as an adult. So this was a person that her grandfather was her world. Like if she wasn't home, she was with him. So when she didn't have him, it kind of just rocked her world. So she didn't have that balance that I'm preaching about now. And that was the reason why that really flows into it. Now the 20%, I know my time's coming short. The 20% is broken down into four factors. Can you share that screen for me really quick, those four buckets?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's see.
So the 20% goes into four buckets. 5% of your income per bucket equals 20%. In the case of the client that is, a former scholar, he was making $215 a week times 4. $215 times 4 equals $860 times 0.05. So $43 a month goes into retirement, long-term goals, midterm goals, and short-term goals. We rounded up to $50. The reason being is because you want to, and remember the 50% that we were talking about? That is your short-term checking, savings, and emergency funds. So $50 a month needs to build up to his emergency fund. In his case, emergency funds are 3 times your monthly bills. Remember what we said, he's spending $400 a month. So no matter what, bare minimum, he needs $1,200 in his savings. We start doing that by donating $50 a month, every month, to his savings. As he grows in income, his 5% will increase, and he'll reach that goal eventually. Slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to get $1,200 immediately. We just need to get it there to start. Start off with something. Every little bit counts. Midterm savings are investments. Investments include stocks or individual securities, mutual funds, bonds, and retirement accounts, which retirement accounts is the fourth bucket. Individual securities or stocks are like Facebook, Twitter, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, all those companies you see in the Dow Jones, S&P 500, those are individual securities. Mutual funds are a group of those stocks put together to mitigate losses. And then you have bonds, which is bad debt by companies or municipalities. You see bonds all the time. If you see construction on I-95, that's a bond. It's a municipal bond. So those are the 4 types of investments. And in the retirement accounts, 5% of his income goes towards a retirement account. He has a 401k with a popular grocery chain here in South Florida. They have some of the best chicken subs that you ever want to have. I'm just going to say that, okay? But long and short, they give him a retirement account. He has a match. I can't beat free money. That's a match. They match 4% of his income. So I say 4% goes towards his retirement account. Then we have 1% to work with. We put another 1% of his income into a retirement account that he did on his own called an individual retirement account. If you use the retirement in the second bucket, can you just combine the retirement bucket? Yes, you could. It's just I try to break that up a little bit because a retirement account, you can't touch to your 59 and a half. That is the rule of a retirement account. You can do up to $6,000 if you're over the age of 50, and under the age of 50, and $7,000 if you're over the age of 50 maximum per year in a retirement account. So that's the reason why I separate those buckets. But that's a great question. And then we talk about all of these things, but we gotta protect it. And if you played football, who protects the quarterback? You're the quarterback. Who protects the quarterback's blind side? That's the left tackle if you're a right-handed quarterback, and a left-handed quarterback, it's the right tackle. And that's insurance. You're the quarterback. We got to insure everything. And so that's your long-term goals, is your 10-plus year goals, your 10-plus outlook. And 5% of your income goes towards there. So he's spending $50 a month in each one of these buckets to help him long-term. For the next 40 years, he's saving $50 a month, at least for right now. That's his number. but that's the 50-20-30 model. 50% of your income, go ahead.
Do you have any like resources you would suggest just so we could like better visualize this model?
I do. I'll send it over to Shannon and she'll email it to you guys. I don't have it on me right now, but I definitely can.
Thank you.
No problem, Sarah. Any other questions?
I think you had some questions, Ron, still in the chat that weren't answered. Somebody asked, would you recommend having the 3 checking accounts through the same bank?
Yes, I would. It just makes it easier. It just makes it easier.
And somebody asked, should we have a credit card?
Yes, you should. I don't believe in spending money on a debit card. They don't pay you to use it. Credit cards pay you in points. Points is free money. So anything you can't pay with a credit card, use your debit card. Most times it's utility bills or your mortgage or your rent. Some apartment complexes actually allow you to pay with a credit card. God bless them. I love them. But points are free money. On Apple, they give you 3% cash back on every purchase. That means 3% of what you spend. If you spend $100, they give you $3. If you spend $1,000, they give you $30. So on and so forth. Your checking account gives you 0. I repeat, it gives you 0. I haven't paid for a trip until this SeaWorld trip that I'm going on with my kids since 2016, because I swiped my credit card on my down payment on my last house, which was $13,000. So I didn't pay for a single trip, but for using points, because I used a large purchase like that. So I suggest you talk with your parents and you guys sign up for credit cards as soon as possible, 1 per every 3 months. By the time you get out of college, you should have about $10,000 to $25,000 in available credit. That is purchase power you cannot replace beyond measure. Now, I don't want you to build up all that purchase power and not pay it off. Most credit cards suggest you pay it off once a month. I'm suggesting you pay it off as soon as you swipe it. They make it so convenient for you to do so. I call it, if you're religious, I call it if you pray, you pay. All right? If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is pray, the next thing you need to do after that is pay. All right? If the first thing you do in the morning and you're not that religious and you're spiritual, the first thing everybody does in the morning, I'm sorry to say it, is they use the bathroom. Take that phone to the bathroom with you. And when you're peeing, you pay. Okay? Swipe over and pay. You literally can pay your credit card on a daily basis. It takes about 48 hours for a purchase to register, but after it registers and it's posted, you pay it. We never let it accumulate, because whatever's in your checking account in that 50% bucket, you're using that credit card to pay, using that checking account to pay off that credit card. So we never live outside of our means, and we never let interest accrue. You'll have a 700 credit score in 6 months. Easy. If you pray, you pay. Okay? So I do recommend getting a credit card as soon as possible. The best one to get right now is kids your age, or sorry, young adults your age, is probably Discover or Apple or Capital One. Or jump on your parents' credit card and let them monitor. But definitely you should do that. APR doesn't matter if you pray, you pay, because they can't charge you interest on charges that you haven't let sit for over a month. So don't even worry about APR.
We have another question here.
I thought it was bad to pay credit cards off so early before the due date. No, it's not. They try to tell you that. Because your credit is so young, if you make, let's say on average, 15 payments a month, guess what? Over a year's time, that's 15 years of available payments that you've made, because they count each payment as a monthly payment. So you'll have 15 years worth of credit in a year. The person that followed this model, who's a scholar of yours, he has a 740 credit score in a year. That's his credit score right now.
That's great. What is it?
All right, guys. I think I went over my time, guys. I'm so sorry.
You have. That's okay. You've been amazing, Ron. This was full of information that everyone, no matter what age, needs to have.
Guys, if you want, and they make my information available, you're more than welcome. I do mentoring sessions. I will not ask you to be a client. I do it for community service. I need to have tax write-offs. So if you guys want to sit down with me individually, I will do it, no questions asked. I'll give you an hour of my time if you guys want to get reconnect with me. It's totally up to you guys. I do Zoom calls. So I do about 5 of these a week for individuals that are young like you guys, okay? So
Oh, that's very generous, Ron.
Yeah, that's very nice of you.
That's amazing.
Would you mind entering your contact information in the chat before you go, or would you like me to share it with them separately?
No problem. I'll put it right here. This is my phone number. This is my cell. You can reach me anytime. Just text me. Here's my email, ronald.wells@nm.com. That's my brokerage's email. So anybody wants to reach out to me, it's in the chat. But guys, enjoy the rest of the speakers. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. I've enjoyed my time with you guys. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you guys.
So much, Ronald.